The Metroid franchise holds a special place in the hearts of us Nintendo fans. Metroid Prime especially helped shape the childhoods of thousands of people. With 3 games in the Metroid Prime series, it came to change the Metroid franchise as we knew it. Today, we want to discuss Nintendo's seemingly big strategy for a highly anticipated Metroid Prime 4. Don't know what we're talking about? Stick around and we'll go into everything. So, for this to all make sense, we must rewind 20 years in time. The first game in the Metroid Prime series came out in 2002 for the Nintendo Gamecube. It was the 5th installment in the Metroid franchise, and it came to revolutionize everything we knew about the Metroid formula. Metroid Prime was the first installment to take advantage of 3D graphics, and with a first attempt at a first-person perspective. This allowed us to explore the Metroid universe in a more immersive way, which was never thought possible with the original Metroid back in the 80s. The game created the perfect atmospheric tension and sense of world building, while also giving us new ways to immerse ourselves throughout the levels. Everything from the jungle-like Talon overworld to the lava-filled Magmore caverns, we got a first-hand experience of everything Planet Talon 4 has to offer, which is where the game is taking place. When we say Metroid Prime was a new immersive experience, we are serious. The game offers a unique gaming experience to everyone who starts the game for the first time. The fantastic graphics and first-person perspective create a unique immersive experience while exploring the various areas in the game. The music perfectly captures the vibe of each area, and it changes as the plot thickens. So not only do you get to see all the action happen right in front of your eyes, but you can also feel it. The entire game is simply iconic and easily has stood the test of time. Critics and us fans praised Metroid Prime so much that Nintendo later on made 2 more games in the series. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes in 2004 for the Gamecube, and Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii in 2007. And a few years later, in 2009, the games got re-released under the title Metroid Prime Trilogy. All games into one epic packaging for the Nintendo Wii. And after some unjustified games in the Metroid series, we're looking at you, Metroid Prime Federation Force. Silence. Nothing was heard or seen from Metroid, and especially Metroid Prime, for years. Fans started to lose faith, and then suddenly, Nintendo announced Metroid Prime 4 in 2017. The fans' hype simply got out of control.
What? Oh my god! I saw the S! Don't do this! Oh my god! Yes!
Is it retro? Is it fucking retro?
After Metroid Prime 4's announcement during the Nintendo Direct at E3, this, of course, received an overwhelming amount of attention. The Prime series is a fan favorite, and we had been waiting for years. Unfortunately, fans began to worry after the initial excitement. Although producer Kensuke Tanabe was confirmed to be involved, the game's development was handled by Bandai Namco Studios, not Retro Studios, who developed the previous games. This raised some concerns among us, but many were still very excited about the upcoming game. But then time passed, and there wasn't much news about it at all. 1 year later, and the game wasn't shown during E3 2018, even though Nintendo president at the time, Reggie Fils-Aimé, stated that the game was, quote, well into development and proceeding well.
And on Nintendo Switch, you can have the complete Battle Royale experience.
If the game was proceeding as well as Reggie Fils-Aimé claimed, then why didn't they release any more information about the game? This, of course, raised many red flags in the community. Then, in 2019, Nintendo came bearing bad news. They announced the game Bandai Namco Studios had been working on was scrapped because it didn't meet Nintendo's standards.
私たちがメトロイドプライムシリーズの続編となるこのタイトルに求める品質には届いていないという現状をお伝えせざるを得なくなりました。
Instead, Retro Studios had taken the project and would restart the game development from scratch. While many of us were happy to know Retro Studios had returned to the franchise, we were also obviously disappointed to know that the game would be even further away for us to grasp our tiny hands around, and with good reasons. Again, we had been waiting 10 years to get a new addition to the Metroid Prime series, and now we have to wait even more? The pain is simply unbearable.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you about.
But is this news unbearable to you? Let us know in the comments. Now, back to the video. As Retro Studios works on Metroid Prime 4 from scratch, Nintendo received backlash for the very early announcement of the game. We were of course disappointed, and some even felt they got scammed for the announcement of a game so early on. So Nintendo came up with a new strategy to please us, and hopefully make us shut up for a few years until some progress was made. So what better way to keep us happy while we wait for Metroid Prime 4? Bring out the nostalgia card, of course. Nintendo announced Metroid Prime Remastered for the Nintendo Switch during a Nintendo Direct presentation in February of 2023. Not only was it announced unexpectedly, but it was released digitally on the same day.
What the Wow, that was unexpected.
The physical game came out on February 22nd for North America and March 3rd for Europe and Japan. The remaster was developed by Retro Studios with assistance from Iron Galaxy Studios. Its main features were updated visuals, new control schemes, and unlockable art. Just days after its release, many fans were already singing praises towards the game. Metroid Prime Remastered offers an incredible gaming experience that still holds up today. The game features a captivating narrative, delivered through a moody atmosphere and interactive player discovery, just like it did when it was first released back in 2002. The game brought the perfect balance between nostalgia and perfected control schemes to make it feel fresh and innovative. Back in 2002, Metroid Prime received many complaints about the control schemes of the game. Metroid Prime Remastered lets you break down the control schemes so you can decide which is best for you. This and many other elements are what makes Metroid Prime still an amazing gaming experience, and the remastered version elevates this to new heights. After the announcement of Metroid Prime Remastered, many of us are now wondering if we'll also get remasters of the other two games in the series as the Wii did. Maybe. Many of us are rooting for Nintendo to release Metroid Prime 2 Echoes and Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Nintendo Switch as well. Even Anthony Garcelano, a game artist under GameSim Incorporated, who worked on Prime Remastered, said, "I'm crossing my fingers if they're also remastering the second and third game." And wouldn't it be a good strategy for Nintendo? Let's think about that for a second. Metroid Prime 4 still doesn't have a release date. The game developers are still working on it, and we can only guess it's a massive project that will take the game series to new heights. Nintendo has very high standards for their games, as proven when they parted ways from Bandai Namco Studios. We know that Retro Studio is also able to work on other projects simultaneously. They worked on Metroid Prime Remastered, so wouldn't it be reasonable to believe they could be working on the other two as well? Let's take a look at the reception of Metroid Prime Remastered. According to Metacritic, Metroid Prime Remastered received universal acclaim. The physical game sold out almost everywhere in the US after its release on February 22nd. The game was released in the UK on March 3rd, and just 2 days after, it was already the fourth biggest physical launch in the series. The numbers don't lie,
and they spell disaster for you.
Metroid Prime Remastered was a success beyond anything imaginable. So imagine if Nintendo released remasters of Echoes and Corruption, and they were just as successful. Not only will old fans get to play their favorite games once again, but new fans will get to experience the stories for the first time as well. It would give the fans time to digest each game, and build the hype up for the fourth game. Again. In releasing remasters of the previous 3 Metroid Prime games would not only bring new fans into the series, but also appease older fans who have been waiting on a new installment. Nintendo can generate more money by releasing the games one by one, and maintaining steady hype until Metroid Prime 4 is ready for release. By doing so, the sales of the fourth game would likely be even higher than they would be without the remasters. And ultimately, it's a win-win situation for both Nintendo and the Metroid Prime fanbase. And this is what we think is obviously Nintendo's big strategy behind Metroid Prime Remastered. We can only hope that Nintendo has something big planned for the Metroid Prime series. The remaster was a success, and now even more fans are anxiously waiting for Prime 4. So, what do you think? Should Nintendo release a remaster of the other two games before releasing Metroid Prime 4? Or should they put all their resources into the new game? Let us know in the comments below.